Today's video is not necessarily a game per se, but it's more of an experience and a simulation playground. Fluids and Sounds is all about making a psychedelic fluid-based simulation that reminds me of all of the screensavers you used to have in the late 90s, early 2000s, quirky stuff you'd find on DeviantArt, all of that kind of good stuff where you're dropping water from a height into, say, like oil or vice versa, or ink or something like that, and you're watching like the pellets unfurl and explode and dissolve into particles on your screen in front of you. The beauty of this is that you can just let it go randomly on its own by pressing R or A for autoplay, and it will do its own thing, and you can sit there and be like visual ASMR drooling on the screen. And it reminds me very much of, this is probably revealing too much of my own personality, you know those extra satisfying YouTube videos where it's like people cutting the perfect, normally Korean cooking cake, or stirring a massive pot of paint around and it's really thick and luxurious and like, let me get in it. Like diving into chocolate fondue, something like that. Fluids and Sounds evokes that kind of ness to it. The graphics are really high detailed and you can really get down to the nuance of particle effects that just makes it zing when you're watching it kind of do its thing on the screen. Out of the box, without any customization, you can have two fingers kind of going around the screen at once. You can create some quite cool little effects and you can record all of these as videos as well as you go. And that's all well and good. But then you can dive into the settings and add between 1 to 8 fingers on the screen, which is essentially ink pellets to start off on the screen. You can change the sizes of them and kind of the pattern that they'll land on the screen. And that's quite cool to kick you off with. But then you can go into like whether or not the screen has walls. Do the borders overlap? So if an ink pellet flies off the right hand side, does it appear on the left? How do colours smash together and what does the ink splat effect look and feel like? Is there going to be explosive velocity coming off of this? How does colour mash up together? Do you want some chromatic aberration on it? Do you want scan lines? Do you want it as a CRTV where it's got like the bend at the edges? Do you want to start playing with kaleidoscopes? Do you want particle effects? Do you want it to look like one of those like proper 80s disco balls where everything's pixelated with like round pixels and you can see the fluid bouncing around in the background? You can customize this to your heart's content. And how I found myself playing Fluids and Sounds is there's an option here where you can import your own music files. And so what I was doing was importing music. I hooked this up via HDMI to my normal TV for watching Blu-rays, DVDs and playing my PS4 because it's bigger than my TV monitor. And I had like a little disco for one going on in my living room because I had like ginormous multicoloured RGB changing ink blots splashing around the screen to some like proper hardcore electronica going on. I was having a whale of a time. But turn the lights off in your living room or your bedroom or wherever you're playing this. You have got disco lights galore ready to play with. Similarly, on the flip side, if you don't want to import your own music, what you can do is align different instruments or ocean waves to your ink as you draw it around the screen. So you can have this as a disco end and having like a proper nightclub vibe, or you could go for the calm and creative kind of mindless or mindfulness meditative experience on the other side by adding on like waves, and there's like a weird synthy sound that comes in and out that feels like a drone effect, and that was quite cool too. So with absolutely tons of customization features that you can really go into the nuance of, you can then save those as presets so that you can switch between your favourites. And you could pretty much sync this to your music playlist potentially so that you can have an entire light show playing out as you play music at the same time. And that's really where my usage of this app went. And so what I was finding, so I do a side project where I embrace my hippie side and I create sound baths. So I've got like koshi chimes, ocean drums, tablas, hang drums, that kind of stuff. And it's all very like chill and relaxed. What I'm going to be doing is pairing up my recordings of that with Fluids and Sounds so that I can create like a really cool, tranquil relaxing and satisfying visual to go alongside that. And that wasn't necessarily what I was planning for that project until I came across this. And I thought, this goes really well together. And so I think if you're that way inclined, where you're looking for something that's creamy and intuitive to just and tactile to play with, and you want to marry that with some audio, this could be a really cool tool for you. Its audience will be niche, but I really like the way how this app plays and comes together. I think, though, that there is still a couple of bugs with the PC version as of launch. The first one, the first issue that I came across, has already been fixed as of today, just an hour ago before I recorded this. And that was that you couldn't actually load in custom tracks or images because the menu there was broken. I do come across a second bug, though, every single time that I play it, is eventually the menu gets stuck. Pieces of the menu goes missing, and the quit and email buttons, or Discord buttons, get stuck on the menu, and you can't get rid of them, and you can't do anything with the game necessarily to customize what you're doing. So you have to come out of the game and come back in again, and then it's all fine until it mucks up again. So hopefully that will get sorted in the future too. But yeah, very enjoyable, very niche, but that's what we do here on Higher Plane Games. We celebrate and love the niche. So yeah, written review over on higherplanegames.com. I've definitely got some future usage for this. Who needs mushrooms when you've got this? Take care. Bye-bye. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.